Have you ever seen in a movie where an animal tried to cross the road and because of the headlights, they stop and then they don't know where they're going to be going and then it's a roadkill? That happened. Why? Because the animal was indecisive. And as the leader, it is also that dangerous for you to be indecisive. You paralyze your entire organization.
What about some skill sets that a great leader, maybe an entrepreneur, or it could be just a leader in general, must have?
Being decisive. It's funny because I was just listening to the podcast earlier. Seth Godin was there, and he said you have to be decisive. You don't. Your job is, for example, if you're a carpenter, your job is not to hammer down, nails on wood. Your job is not really to paint the fence. Your job is to make decisions. Am I gonna do this today? How am I gonna do it? Am I gonna put this wood over that wall? When am I gonna do it? How should it look like? So, yeah, your job, the world may see you as, oh, you work on wood, nails, stone, and paint as a carpenter, but what you're really getting paid for is to make decisions. And Seth Godin argues that everyone is in the decision making skill set and industry. Every job is in the decision making industry. Connecting it with the other podcast I listened to, is your decision making skill closer to the decimal point or to the commas? Because when you write 1,000,000 pesos, there's 3 commas right there. And then there's the decimal point. Are the decisions you make closer to the decimal point? Because if you're a cook in Jollibee, for example, or McDonald's, and you're just flipping burgers, and your decision is, when should I finally put this burger, in the bun? Then your decision is a $6 decision closer to the decimal point. But if your decision is, should I continue with laying off, or sorry, not laying off, should I continue with quarantining 27,000 of my employees, that airline, then that is a $1,000,000 decision, right? So, what kind of decision industry are we in? Are we closer to the decimal point, or are we closer to the commas? Now, as the leader and as the CEO, as the entrepreneur, are you still deciding on decimal point decisions? What kind of soap should we buy? Where are we gonna be putting the alcohols in the company? Because I used to make those decisions, right? Honest to goodness, I still used to make those decisions. Maybe recently I've just made some of those decisions because we still run things like a family here. But I make less and less of them. I delegate more of them to other people. Some of the decisions closer to the decimal point are being done by administrative people. Some decisions closer to the decimal point are being done by grassroots people. Those are decisions you leave them to do. So the dangerous thing here is about being indecisive. I know we don't have squirrels here, but have you ever seen in a movie where an animal tried to cross the road and because of the headlights, they stop and then they don't know where they're going to be going and then it's a roadkill? That happened. Why? Because the animal was indecisive. And as the leader, it is also that dangerous for you to be indecisive. You paralyze your entire organization, and people start to see this guy cannot make decisions. Because if you make wrong decisions, that's fine. Why? There are no mistakes, only lessons. Just don't repeat the lessons. Because that becomes fatal mistakes. Fatal mistakes is you lose money, you lose clients, you lose sales, you destroy your reputation as a company. You don't do fatal mistakes, but single mistakes you learn from, those are important. Failing forward is important. Another book I'm reading right now by John Maxwell. So, you have to fail forward, but never be an indecisive leader. You will be ineffective. Your entire organization will not respect you for it, and you will be paralyzed. So, one of the biggest, I would say, things for an entrepreneur or a leader is to be decisive, pragmatic.
Decisiveness, right?
Yep.
What else? Another trait or another skill set that a great leader should have?
Humility. Humility to learn, to listen to other people. I know of leaders who are their ego is so big that when some people tell them off, right? You need to change this. I think we need to improve here. They just bite those people's heads off. And for me, you cannot improve if you're like that. When you have a meeting, for example, and all leaders, all entrepreneurs have meetings, you should. If you don't have any meetings, you should have meetings because you have to discuss some things, whether it's critical issues inside or outside your company. If you bite people's heads off in meetings, they will not tell you the truth. The truth you need to hear. They will only tell you what you want to hear, but they're not going to be telling you what you need to hear. And sometimes it goes both ways. Sometimes you have a big personality. The ego is not really there, but for example, I'm an extremely high D in the DISC spectrum, so my dominance is extremely high. Couple it with being self-assured, which is my number one strength. Some people see me as a very big personality in meetings. But it doesn't mean I'm shutting down their ideas. In fact, I want to hear them debate with me so that more ideas will come out. But there are some people in some of our meetings, the opinions would come later when the meeting is done. And they would tell it to someone who would tell it to me. And my thoughts about it is, why wasn't this brought up when we were discussing this information during that meeting? Because I want healthy conflicts in the team. Patrick Lencioni says, conflict is nothing but the pursuit of truth, the search for the best possible answer. And I am in this business for the best possible answer. We are doing that meetings for the best possible answer to surface. But if you're not going to have healthy conflicts with me, if you're just going to shrink because I have a big personality, nothing's going to happen. We cannot get to the truth and get to it on time. So it goes both ways. You have to be humble enough to listen to people, not bite their heads off when they give you their opinion. Take it in and then tell them, can I have a healthy conflict, or can we debate on that, or can we discuss that, right? So that's something that I think a lot of leaders and especially founders found. Like if you're the second gen, third gen, I think there are better chances of you listening to other people, especially if they have been with the founder, like your dad or your grandparent. But if you're the founder, tendency is you bite people's head off. Stop doing that. Humility is one of the best traits to have as an entrepreneur because we don't know everything. I don't know everything. You probably don't. I mean, now we are at the stage where I delegated a lot to other people. I really don't know everything that's happening in the company. In fact, I would argue that some people know a lot more than I do. So if you're not humble enough to listen to them, you're going to lose touch of your operations.
When you're the founder, it makes sense that, not saying it's right, but it does make sense for you to have this sense of ownership, this defensiveness that this is my baby. Why are you trying to make these changes? But it does require humility to say, hey, I don't know everything. I think we're going to need more information. We're going to need healthy debate here. Yeah. So what do? What are you doing to encourage this free flow of ideas, to encourage people to speak up, to not be afraid to be the voice of dissent against you?
First thing that you need to do is realize and recognize that how you say things matter. So one example is we had one of our meetings yesterday, and I told them, so there was something that was suggested that would change one of our key ways of ranking. So we're in the business of ranking in Google. We're an SEO company. We manipulate search results. So one of our key strategies in ranking was going to be changed, at least temporarily. And when I heard that, I said, have you thought about the implications? And then I explained to them the implications on my mind. And I said, as long as you know this and you're still going to go ahead and do it, then do what you think is best. But at least I gave you my opinion. That, in fact, was me trying to tell them, I don't know everything. You're probably seeing some things that I'm not seeing. And that's fine. If you want to go ahead with it, try it. I'm open. But at least I know you know what I think about it. Because if you don't give me a chance to speak up, how can I commit to your decision? I cannot commit to it. But if I know you heard me and you still push through with it, then I will support that and I can commit to that decision. And I will help you. I'll talk to the clients, I'll talk to the team to support that decision. So that's one way of doing it.